Hey guys, it's your local Speechie here, and I had a little break in my day, so I wanted to take some time to film a quick little video. And first off, look at my wall. It is all spring related. It makes me so happy. I just love decorating my little board. Also, I wanted to take some time just to shout out my friend, Radhika, who made me this cute shirt. Look at that, it says SLP on it. She embroidered it herself, which is something that I should probably learn how to do because now I want to embroider this on all of my shirts, but it's so cute and I was just very happy about it. And I was telling her I'm probably going to be wearing it in all my videos. So let's get straight into the video. As you can see from the title, it's 10 things that I wish I knew before grad school. And of course, if you don't know me, I'm a graduate student in speech language pathology at Towson, and I am only a first year. So this video is just going to be things that I've found out so far from being in graduate school. I know it's going to get completely different next year when I'm off campus, so there'll be a different video once I finish the whole program, but I just wanted to put this out now. And also, this is all from my experience at my specific program in Maryland. I know that some programs do things completely differently. So just remember, this is based on my experience so far as a first year in my second semester and as a Towson student. First thing that I wish I knew before going into grad school is that we will be thrown into clinic, and a lot of the time we will not know what we're doing. I will say it's very exciting to finally be able to get that hands-on experience, but I really wish I learned more about intervention and treatments in undergrad, because I feel like I honestly still am unsure like where I'm going with some of my sessions, and I just wish it was something that, you know, I learned beforehand. I was given a lot of clients where I really didn't know what I was supposed to do, and luckily the supervisor, of course, guided me to the point that I should be in for these sessions. But oh my God, it was very nerve-wracking and scary to be having clients when I truly didn't even know how to do so many things for these clients. It was just, it's a lot. You will be making a lot of mistakes, but as my supervisor calls them, it's a learning experience. So even if you do make these little mistakes or you do something that you wish you would have known how to do before, it's okay and you will learn from it. With all that, you will also be thrown into talking to the parents, and I really didn't have a lot of experience talking to parents about their child, so that was very, nerve-wracking for me to figure out. It's also very hard to figure out how to say things that are not, medical jargon or professional jargon that we use, and how to simplify it for other people. Some advice I have come up for talking with parents is to always be concise, be straight to the point about what is going on with their child, maybe what's not going on. Of course, be positive with the parents, talk about all the great things that their child is doing, and always use parent terms. Like I said, do not use medical jargon, do not use professional jargon, even if you think it is something simple that someone should know. So things like expressive language, receptive language, you would not be using that in a conversation unless they specifically have background in these kind of language terms, but do not use those terms. I once had a phone call with a parent to discuss their child before we met them. I just wanted to get some background information about, what kind of toys he liked. And I was also asking the dad if the child had an AAC device, because we noticed that in previous reports, so we just wanted to understand why, an AAC device wasn't being used anymore. But with the parent, I specifically said AAC device, and the parent obviously was like, I don't know what an AAC device is, and they were clearly thrown off by that question, and I definitely should have used a simpler term and not have used AAC device. And after that happened, I rephrased it and explained it in the best way possible. But that was just a defining moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I need to figure out how to explain these things to people, because it's just so hard to figure it out when you can't simply use the name and assume that they know what you're talking about. Now, of course, you are not going to know what you are doing, and it's okay to ask your supervisors questions. It's okay to clarify everything if you need to, because that is going to help you be a better clinician if you clarify and understand why you're doing the things you're doing. Also, I recently heard from a guest lecturer who is a speech pathologist right now explain to us, even during her fellowship time, she still did not know what she was doing, and another SLP that was in the field for a long time told her that it will take a few years to finally get the hang of things and feel confident about what you're doing. So I just wanted to say that so that you guys are not freaked out if you do not know what you're doing. The second thing I wish I knew before going into grad school was about the documentation and all the data that we had to take. You know, obviously I did have some mentality that we were going to be doing SOAPs and we were going to have reports and other papers like that for our client, but wow, when everything is due, it's a lot. I am currently almost done with this semester, so we have a lot of progress reports due and we just have to input a lot of our SOAP notes, and that is a lot of time, and I just did not expect it to be so time consuming. I also wish I looked up advice on how to take data during my sessions, because even now I still feel like I'm not taking them correctly, and I also feel like it might not be related to the treatment plan goal that we had. So definitely look up how to take the best data during a session and look up resources. There are free templates online that I recently just found out about note taking and data taking during a session, and you can definitely print these templates out and it will definitely guide you throughout the data taking process and help you a lot. So the amount of time that we have for note-taking and progress reports, I will say if you are on a diagnostic team, which is where you basically have a team and you guys give 3-hour evaluations to clients, you will be writing at least a 6 to 8 page report on that client, and it's going to be a lot. I will say the report I had to write last semester was almost 10 pages long, and it took hours to edit and work through it with my supervisor, because clearly I've never written a report like that about a client. So there was a lot I had to learn, there was a lot my supervisor had to show me, and it was a very time-consuming process. I just wish in undergrad I knew about all this stuff, because it's just going to be a lot to get thrown at when you start out and you still have a lot of classwork and tests that you need to figure out. So it's definitely going to be a learning experience on how to manage your time with all of this. The third thing I wish I knew about grad school was that each semester is going to be completely different, and some semesters are going to be harder and then some are going to be so much better and easier. I will say my first semester was complete torture. I was on a diagnostic team. I was thrown into everything. I didn't understand a lot of what I was doing, and I also had a lot of things due in classes and CASA reports and tests, and it was a lot. In my first semester, if you looked at some of the videos, there really aren't that many videos that talk about my experience, but in the videos where I do talk about it, I was clearly stressed. I was not taking time off for myself because I was just grinding. I had to wake up early and just keep working on things, and I had to stay up late and work on things as well, and it was a lot. My first semester, it was a lot, and it's just weird for me now having my second semester and feeling so relaxed about some things and not feeling as stressed as I did in my first semester. And it was definitely something that I had to figure out, because I grinded so hard in my first semester, and it just feels weird in my second semester to have some time off, and I feel, guilty for having time off and not having work to do, and it's just an adjustment. The fourth thing I wish I knew before going into grad school was how different each supervisor wants the notes and documentation to be. I remember I was taking what I learned from the first semester and going into my second semester with different supervisors and taking what I learned from those supervisors, just using it for my second semester supervisors, and clearly it was something that they didn't like and it was different from what they wanted. So it was definitely hard to adapt in how I was writing for each supervisor and figuring out what they wanted exactly. Definitely ask your supervisor how they want their SOAP notes to look like, if they have any examples that you can work on and work from, and also figure out their process for how they want you to get things done. If they want things to be turned in immediately for SOAP notes, or if it's going to be a collaboration between editing on SOAP notes, or if it's just going to be them adding comments and you figuring out from there. But definitely figure out what each supervisor wants before you get into those data taking and documentation, because you will have to adapt your ways for each supervisor. The fifth thing I wish I knew before going into grad school is that you are going to have to learn to accept that you will plan a lot for a session, and sometimes it will not end up going that way at all. And this is a lot to deal with, but you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with planning things and them not going your way. It's going to happen a lot for you within grad school. It's going to happen a lot when you're in the field. You will have to get comfortable changing your activities on the spot or having a backup plan in mind in case a client does not like the session that you gave to them. I remember in my first session with one of my clients, they had a complete temper tantrum. We didn't get to any of the activities and she just laid on the floor. She was ripping up the stickers we were trying to give her to motivate her. She ran through the hallways. She was just not having a good time, and we had to accept that. We made this plan and it didn't work, so we need to figure out what the client likes and go from there. The sixth thing I wish I knew before going into grad school was to take advantage of your mentor relationship. You will be given an upper graduate mentor, and I am telling you to take advantage of that relationship and to ask them lots of questions and ask them for resources for your sessions or any advice that they have. I know my mentor helped me a lot by telling me all about the praxis and when to start studying and things like that. And she also sent me PowerPoints that she used for client sessions with telehealth, and that helped me a lot because clearly we were thrown into something that we didn't know what we were doing, like I said before. So definitely take advantage of these relationships and ask as much as you want, because they are very nice and they are very accommodating because they know that they were in the same place that you were as a first year. So they are going to want to help you. The seventh thing I wish I knew before going into grad school is to not overwork yourself to get a 4.0. No one is going to care about your GPA. It does not matter if someone in your cohort has a 4.0. It literally doesn't matter anymore, I promise. Now, of course, this is not me telling you to strive for a C, because you should not be doing that. And you should still be striving for good grades and you should still be working hard. But it is okay if you do not get an A in every single class. Now, I know this is a lot to tell people that want to be SLPs, because I think we know a lot of time the people that are wanting to be SLPs are type A and strive for perfection and are competitive with their cohort. But I'm telling you, it is okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not get a 4.0, and it's okay to not be competitive in grad school, because I promise you we are here just for the experience. We are not competing to get into graduate school anymore. This is not undergrad. This is a completely different experience. We should be supporting each other and collaborating with each other and helping each other to become a better clinician. And this is not about competition anymore. The eighth thing that I wish I knew before grad school was that we do not have to overwork ourselves anymore to do a whole bunch of extracurricular activities or jobs like you did in high school or undergrad. Do not do these things if you are already stressed and doing a lot for grad school, because you're just going to overwork yourself more. A lot of times, if it's not something speech pathology related, it will not be important on your resume and you will not be able to put it down when you apply for externships or fellowships. When I started working for Chipotle and throughout my first year of a graduate student, I thought this was going to be so great for my resumes and that they would know that I'm such a hard worker and that I am great with time management because I worked part-time and was in graduate school. And I learned that this was a weird way of thinking, because I found out that our speech resumes are going to be very specific for speech, and it's going to be only experiences that are either related to our field or the medical field that will be important. Now, of course, if you need a job, continue working. Don't just quit, because I said that. The ninth thing I wish I knew before going into grad school was that the stress and the burnout is going to be very real. Now, I may not feel it as much this semester. Like I said, this semester is so much better and I have a lot more free time for myself. But in my first semester, I was grinding so hard and working so hard each day just to do well and be on top of my classes and to be on top of my client sessions and diagnostics that I was literally breaking out into stress hives. I was also getting very bad migraines. I was just not happy. And I want to tell you, please do not do what I did. Do not overwork yourself to that point. And I want to say that mental health and this kind of topic I feel like isn't entirely focused on in the program, and I'm telling you now that you need to manage your time. You need to figure out time for yourself. I remember a mental health advocate spoke for our clinic class one time, and I just remember tearing up because some of the things she said was something that I haven't heard before in the program, and it made me feel so much better. And a lot of my cohort really loved this guest speaker because we just needed to hear those words. Remember, I asked her that I wasn't taking a lot of time off for myself, and when I tried to, I felt completely guilty for taking that time off, and I felt like I should be doing more work. And because of that, I just never took time off at all. And I was asking her advice on how to feel okay going away from work for a little bit to focus on myself. And she told me, if the assignment is not due the next day, then do not freak out like that. You will have time to work on it. You can set a schedule to figure out the assignment. But if you are stressed and you know that, then it's okay to take a breather and to step away and just watch Netflix for a little bit. It's okay. And it's completely okay if the assignment is not due that day or not due the next day, because you still have time. You just don't feel like you do. But once you manage your time, you will have a lot of time to figure that out. And that was just something that I really needed to hear. I'm going to keep emphasizing that you need to take time for yourself. You maybe could plan an outing with your cohort or simply make some tea and watch some Netflix, for an hour, but just please take time for yourself, because the burnout, the stress, it's all very real. And a lot of people get to their breaking points during these times because it's just a lot to figure out. Okay, the 10th and final thing that I wish I knew before going into grad school was that we need to advocate for ourselves. If we have questions, we need to ask them. If you need to clarify something, then do that. Your supervisors and professors want you to succeed, and they want to help you be a better clinician. So if there's something that you need to ask them or clarify, or you just need to talk about an assignment deadline, by all means, ask them. They will be accommodating. Okay, well, that's all that I have for you for this video. I do have client sessions soon, so I really need to wrap this video up and start getting ready. But I just wanted to say really quickly that I hope you liked this video, and I hope you thought the information that I gave today was informative. I just really appreciate you guys being here and supporting me again, and going through this journey with me. It's amazing to have these people on YouTube, watching me and supporting me. And it just feels really good to know that I'm doing something for someone that wants to be in this career. As always with my other videos, if you have any comments or suggestions or questions, please write them in the comments or, message me on social media. I am totally here to help, and I'd love to be, like a second mentor to you if you need one. So please write it in the comments. I will be here to answer or provide any more information that you'd like. Okay, when I get time for the next video, I will see you then.